Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 25 SAT Math concept summary videos. Today, we are going to talk about lines. And in lines, we are going to review the slope intercept form, the point slope form, and the standard form of a line. These are the three popular forms of lines. You should know about these three forms, although the most commonly asked form of a line is the slope intercept form, but you should know about these three forms of a line. Then we will learn about slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. Then what happens when a point lies on a line? What is the meaning of that? And then finally, point of intersection of a line and any curve. So what happens when you have a straight line and it intersects with a curve? Okay. Okay, so let's get started with the three forms of line. First is slope intercept form. So slope intercept form is given by y equals mx plus b. And we'll also do some practice problems on these topics. So this is your slope intercept form. Here, your m, we all know that this m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. And now what is the slope? Slope is the inclination of the line with the positive x-axis, and y-intercept is that point at which the line is intersecting the y-axis. So for instance, if this is your x and y axis and your line is like this, okay, so your slope is going to be, what is this inclination? Okay, so now the thing is that in order to find out the slope, we have a very nice formula. What we do is we take any 2 points on the line. Let's say that this point has coordinates x1, comma y1, and this point has the coordinates x2, comma y2, and then the slope, which is m, that can be found out by using this formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, this is also called your rise over run. That means if you have to go from this point to this point, then how much do you have to rise divided by how much you have to run. So this is your slope intercept form. Let me just write it here, slope intercept form. And it's very obvious that it's named this way because here this equation of the line is represented in terms of slope and y-intercept. Then the second is point slope form. So point slope form is given by y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. Now here, why this is called point slope form? Because here one you know that one point x1 comma y1 lies on the line. So this x1 comma y1 lies on the line, and this is a point. So point x1 comma y1 lies on the line, and this m is the slope. So that's why this equation is called the point slope form. Okay. Then finally, we have the standard form of a line, standard form. So let me just write here, this is point slope form. And then finally, we have the standard form, which is the least useful. The standard form is given by ax plus by equals to c. There's nothing much that we can tell about A and B, but one very useful information that you can get from the standard form is you can actually get the slope of the line by looking at the standard form. So the slope of the line if the equation is given in the standard form, you can find out the slope by negative coefficient of x over coefficient of y. So that means it's going to be negative a over b. That's going to be the slope. Okay, so this is very basic. Actually, it's very basic information. This is very minimal information. This is a bare minimum concept that you should know when it comes to the different forms of line. So let's do a practice problem. Here we have a practice problem. It says that which of the following is the equation of the line that passes through point 4 comma negative 1 and has slope negative 2. This question had 4 options, but I intentionally removed the 4 options. So what we will do is we will try to find out the equation of a line that passes through this point and it has a slope of negative 2. And this is a very common way. This is the most common way in which the questions are asked. They will give you the slope and they'll tell you that the line passes through this point and you have to find out the equation of the line. So what you have to do is, in this case, the easiest way to find out the equation of the line would be, see, you know that this point passes through, this point lies on the line, and you know that this is the slope. So you can use the point slope form here. Use the point slope form, which is given as y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. So your x1, so this is 4 is your x1 and your negative 1 is y1. And negative 2 is your m. So let's just substitute all these values. So we have y minus y1 is negative 1. So negative of negative 1 will become a positive 1 equals m is negative 2 and x minus x1 is 4. So we get y plus 1 equals negative 2 times x is negative 2x and plus 8. Now the thing is that on your exam, you might not see the options in this form. You might get the options in the slope intercept form, right? So do not feel that, oh, you have not gotten the correct answer choice. You can convert the point slope form to your slope intercept form. So once you've gotten the point slope form, you can convert it easily to slope intercept form to match the answer choices. So you know that the slope intercept form is in the form y equals mx plus b. So on the left hand side you should only have y. So just keep y here. So y equals negative 2x plus 8 minus 1. So y equals negative 2x plus 7. That's your answer in the slope intercept form. That's one way in which you can solve this particular question. There is another way that you could have solved this question. You could just start with the slope intercept form. So you could start this problem like this as well, that okay, the equation of a line in slope intercept form is given by y equals mx plus b. And the slope is negative 2, so m is negative 2. So let's substitute negative 2x plus b. And now we need to find out the value of b. So how do we find out the value of b? We see that the point 4 comma negative 1 lies on this line. So in place of x, you put 4. In place of y, you put negative 1. So you get negative 1 equals negative 2 times 4 plus b. Negative 1 equals negative 8 plus b. So this gives us b is equal to negative 1 plus 8. So b is equal to 7. So this gives you the equation as y equals negative 2x plus 7. And that's exactly what we got when we solved it using the point slope form, negative 2x plus 7. Okay, but I think that this method was easier when we found the equation using the point slope form, and converting point slope form into slope intercept form is pretty simple. All right, next we have slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. So this is interesting. If you have two lines which are parallel, so it's very easy to see that their inclination with the x-axis will be same. So this if if this is the x-axis, you can clearly see that this angle will be same as whatever angle is this one, it's going to be exactly similar that this line will make with the x-axis. So always remember that two parallel lines have same slope. Okay, two parallel lines. So if this line has slope m1, then this line will also have the slope m1. Okay, so two parallel lines have same slope. Now let's talk about two perpendicular lines. Now, if you have two perpendicular lines, this is a right angle. And if this line has a slope m1 and if this line has the slope m2, then there is a very special relationship between the slopes of these two lines. Then your m1 times m2 is equal to -1. Okay. So what does this mean? This means that if I know the value of m1, then m2 will be reciprocal of m1 and negative of that. And if I know the value of m2, then m1 will be same as -1 over m2. Okay. So on the basis of this concept, let's do this practice problem. Write the equation in point slope form of the lines through point 1, 2 that are parallel to and perpendicular to 3x minus y equals -2. So first we have to write the equation of a line which is so first we have to write the equation of a line which is parallel to the line 3x minus y equals -2 and it passes through the point 1, 2. Now, see, all you need is the slope of a line. So you already know that this point will lie on that line and you have to write the equation in point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So you already have the value of x1 and y1, which is 1, 2. So y minus y1 equals, so in place of y1, we can write 2. So y minus 2 equals m times x minus 1. And now we need to find out the value of m. M is the slope. And if you remember, I told you that, see this line right now, this is in standard form, 3x minus y equals -2. And I told you that if an equation is in the standard form, then its slope is given by negative coefficient of x over coefficient of y. Okay, so negative, so value of, for this line, the slope will be negative coefficient of x, which is 3, over coefficient of y, which is -1. So value of m is 3. Or you can also convert this in slope-intercept form by bringing 3x on the other side. So negative y equals -2 minus 3x, and y equals 3x plus 2. So value of m here is 3. And since we have to find out the equation of that line which will be parallel to this line, and we just saw that two lines which are parallel have the same slope. So this line will also have the slope 3. So in place of m, all we have to do is put 3. So our final equation would be y minus 2 equals 3 times x minus 1. And now for the second part, you have to find out that line which is perpendicular to this. So if a line is perpendicular to this line, so its slope is going to be -1 over 3. So your equation will become y minus 2 equals to -1 over 3 times x minus 1. We had to find out in point slope form, so we have done that. That's it. And the next concept that we have is, yes, what happens when a point lies on a line? So we have already covered this concept. If a point lies on a line, for example, you have this line, 3x minus y equals to 2. And if I say that a point -1 comma 9, if this point lies on this line, then this point will satisfy this equation. That means this point will make this equation true. That means if you substitute x equals to -1 and y equals to 9, then your left hand side of the equation will become equal to the right hand side of the equation. This is really helpful, especially when you have to find out the slope of the line and it's been given that the point lies on the line and you have to find out the slope. So that's the second last concept. And the last concept is point of intersection of a line and any curve. Okay. Now, if you have any line, my pen is behaving weirdly today, just bear with me. Okay. Now, if you have a line and this line is intersecting with a curve, let's say it's intersecting with this curve. Okay. And you have to find out this point of intersection. This is actually a very commonly asked question, that find out the point of intersection of the line and this curve. So always the equation of the line will be given to you, y equals to mx plus b. The equation of the line will be given to you and the equation of the curve will be also given to you. So let's say that the equation of this curve is y equals to x square, or it can be x cube as well, x cube minus 4 or whatever. So whenever you get a question like this, then all you have to do is you have to put these expressions equal to each other, because at the point of intersection, whatever this point is, this point is lying both on the line as well as on the curve. So whatever this point is, if this point is, let's say, 2 comma -3, so this point is lying on the line as well as it's lying on the curve, right? So this point will satisfy the equation of the line as well as it will satisfy the equation of the curve. Okay, so that's why we will set, this actually allows us to set these expressions equal to each other. So we will set mx plus b equals to whatever the curve is, x cube minus 4 or whatever it is, and we will solve for x with this equation. And whatever value of x we get, we can substitute it in any of the equations to find out the value of y. So that's it for this video. And as always, I will repeat that try to practice as many different types of questions as you can from as many different resources as you can, because in order to ace the SAT math section, the more you practice, the higher will be the chances of you getting a 700 plus on SAT math section. Try to types of questions, see how different questions can be framed, and try to solve the questions without calculator. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye. Take care and subscribe to my channel if you have not. And all the best for your SAT math.